Anyway, so similar thing happens. This dude wanders in. Beautiful, like first generation Italian dude, probably 30 or something. You know, just like piercing green eyes. It's the middle of the fucking winter, and he's like, just looks like he got back from like 3 weeks at the beach or something. Beautiful guy, great shape, comes in. He's like, I'm looking for a job. You know, I'm already working at another moving company, but I'm kind of window shopping right now, you know. And I'm like, oh, so what do you do? Driver. I'm like, ooh, because people need drivers. You know, if especially in the city, if you know how to drive a box truck, you're basically guaranteed a job in some capacity, especially at a moving company, because you know, people who can walk up and down stairs are kind of a dime a dozen, right? People who know how to drive or have a valid ID or don't have like 11 DUIs uh, are worth something. Um, and so this guy's got a valid ID. He drives for another company. I'm like, great. Why are you looking to leave them? No, I didn't even ask that. I'm on my way to get out the paperwork, and he's like, yeah, you know, I just can't take it anymore. They're all Chinese. So I'm like slowly closing the paperwork drawer. I'm like, yeah? Yeah, they're all Chinese. You know, they work me so hard. You know, I think it's because I don't speak Chinese. And I'm like, yeah, probably. Probably. Lean over, get the paperwork out. Uh, and I'm like, here, just fill this crap out, whatever. And then I'll take you on well, you know, we'll go on a ride around the block. I just got to make sure you know how to drive a truck. Absolutely. No problem, man. No problem, man. Filling shit out. Then my boss comes in. He's like, hey, who's this? The guy's like, hey, I'm Michelangelo, whatever the fuck his name is. Shake hands or whatever. He's like, yeah, you know, we're looking for drivers, man. He's like, I'm a driver. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so my boss is because my boss is a little talkative, and he liked talking the place up a little bit because he needed to for his own morale, for the morale of the office, and to try to get this fucking driver to stick around throughout the winter when the work is kind of nil. So he's like, yeah, man, you know, if you want, we'll get you started tomorrow. Got you working every day this week, Jack. Like, he can't work every day this week. There's not enough work to be, anyway. So my boss is like, so what do you do? Where are you coming from? Guys, again, I'm working for the Chinese. And let me tell you, they do not like me. They're mean to me. They overwork me. You know, he starts going on that Anakin Skywalker rant about Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's always holding me back. Where you kind of get this flash of like, oh, holy shit, he might be evil. And my boss kind of caught a little piece of that. My boss is like, oh, okay. So he keeps filling out the paperwork, and the guy's like, yeah, man, Chinese are overworking me, but I'm a good guy. I'm a hard worker. I got a wife. I got a kid. I don't say the N-word. And at that moment, I knew we were dealing with a complete fucking lunatic. I kind of look over to my boss. My boss is like, what? I don't say the N-word. And my boss is like, yeah, no, I heard you. I just don't respond to that. And the guy's kind of doing this overtone, this kind of thing where he's trying to explain away what he just said by getting louder and louder. And then there's this dead silence. And I'm like, all right, why don't we go take that fucking road test? Okay, all right, so we get in the truck, start driving around the block, and he starts to level with me. And I fucking hate it when people do this, where suddenly you're in a situation where there's not a third person, and they're like, okay, but seriously, why don't we talk seriously? Okay, you and me, you and I, we can talk, right? Wrong. No, don't. Whatever is on your mind, please don't fucking tell me. your sick, twisted thoughts. Anyway, so he starts leveling with me. And you know, people do this because it's me and it's them alone in a box, literally confined in a box. And sometimes, you know, there was a couple times I'd be driving a guy and the guy's like, yeah, man, I used to like fucking drive and do, roadie work for like Ozzy, and just like great stories or something. Sometimes you get like Taos, the sweet Russian guy, who's just like, yes. What do you do, Taos? Where are you from? Yes. Okay, great talking to you, Taos. Yes. You know, you kind of, it's a place for good stories or for people to just like fucking not talk to one another. There's really no in between. And this guy was hell-bent on leveling with me. Yeah, you know, my uncle lives right over there. You know, I might get some Chinese food with him later. I'm like, a little bit odd, right? You know, I can't help but read into that after all this talk about the evil Chinese, talking about eating Chinese food. I felt it was a little bit charged. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking eat some Chinese food. Okay, buddy. Might do that later. All right, why don't we turn here and let's get our asses back to the lot, because I don't want to be in the fucking truck with you anymore. We're driving. We're almost to the lot. Finally, we're at a red light, and I'm like, oh, no. Because I can already tell. This silence is just so pregnant with the possibility of him saying something fucked up. And lo and behold, it's like, so, come on, man. Come on, tell it to me straight. You the only white boy here? You the only white boy? A lot of black boys were in here. The only white boy? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I guess if I open the door here, I could probably barrel roll out without getting too banged up, and I can just walk back to the lot. And he can keep the truck, I don't care. So we get back to the lot or whatever. And I'm like, all right, man, I'll let you know. Okay, see you, buddy. Walks off to eat some fucking Chinese people with his uncle. And I walk back into the office and I'm like, absolutely not. That guy's out of his fucking mind. So moral of the story is, if you're getting fucking interviewed for a job, don't specify that you don't use the N-word. Because what you're really doing is saying that you think about using it a lot. And that you probably do use it a lot. And that somehow it's this trump card that you refrain from saying because you know how powerful its effect can be and how it's going to work in your favor if you drop it. You're using it like, you know, I have super strength, but I don't use that. He gave off that kind of vibe. Like he could win any argument by using that word. Don't say that because, well, he's not hired. All right.